안녕하세요 여러분. Hey guys, how's it going? It's Sean. I'm here with my friend George.
Hello, I'm from the UK and I also have a YouTube channel. It's called 영국 욕쟁이. I teach British English on that channel. If you're interested in that, you should check me out.
Cool. So today we're talking about culture shock and things we didn't expect when we moved to Asia. In my case, Korea. In your case,
Japan.
Now, you've actually lived in Korea much longer than you've been in Japan, right?
That's correct, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So I've been in Korea for a total of 6 years and Japan, I would say 7 months.
So you've definitely spent more time in Korea, but I think you can talk about your experience in Japan, right?
Of course, yeah.
And I've been to Japan, I guess 2 times now. I've been to Tokyo and Osaka, and I've studied a lot of Japanese. I'm pretty familiar with Japanese culture, but of course, I'm way more familiar with Korean culture, and I speak Korean. Same with you, right?
Yeah.
Your Korean's
sure.
better yet. But still, this will be an interesting conversation. Let's get it started. You're representing Japan, I'm representing Korea. We can talk about each other's experience too, because we've both been to both countries.
Yeah, I think it'll be really interesting.
Let's begin.
Let's go.
So one thing that really shocked me when I first got here was when you see like a crowd in Korea of Korean people and someone does something impressive. The sound you'll hear is, oh. I was really shocked at first. I was like, wow, did they all practice? Like the timing is perfect. Everybody is just in sync.
It's in perfect harmony, right?
Yes. Oh.
I enjoyed that too.
Yeah.
I still enjoy it.
Yeah, right.
50년 7개월.
For me, in America, we would just say woohoo or wow or like they would clap you like and they'd be like, wow, yeah, that's amazing. You're amazing.
Yeah, maybe it would just be like, whoa! I don't know.
Yeah,
whoa! In
yeah.
the stadium.
Right. It's WOAH. Whoa!
Yeah.
Wow.
I dreamed a dream in time gone by.
I did definitely enjoy that when I first taught in Japan.
Yeah,
from a lot of the students. Not that I'm particularly impressive. I'm sure there was something impressive going on in the classroom at
in
the
the
time.
background.
Yeah. Maybe someone was juggling. I don't know.
Yeah. So another quick one that I just want to rattle off, something I was shocked, I didn't expect this. Whenever you go to like a club or some kind of party or festival, you see many Korean people dancing that neck thing.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
I have, yeah. It's been a while since I've been to a club, but yeah, I do remember, now that you've said it, it's sort of jogged my memory. And I guess it's sort of contagious as well, because I feel like
I started copying it.
Do you dance in a particular way in a club?
I don't know, I just follow the beat. I like to dance, but I guess I move my feet a lot.
Yeah.
And I would say a lot of Americans would do that in like a club. They would more move their feet, you know, instead of like the thingy.
I like to do this.
Oh.
Yeah.
Disco. Alright.
So something that shocked me in Japan was the size of the apartments.
Oh yeah?
They're tiny, minuscule. So the thing that got to me was the size of the kitchen. So you had the sink, and then directly next to the sink was the stove. So there wasn't really any area for you to prepare food.
Yeah.
So that was kind of tricky. And there wasn't really any space to put my stuff. You had to really think carefully about where you put things, and it definitely made me cut back on the things I bought, because I was thinking, okay, I probably shouldn't buy that because it's just going to clutter up my place.
Maybe that's one of the reasons why there's a lot of minimalism in Japan. Could that be?
Probably, yeah. It makes a lot of sense.
Makes a lot of sense.
Because then you probably won't have anywhere to sleep.
Yeah. I see a lot of like, videos of Japanese people like sleeping under their computer desk.
Yeah.
And then waking up and working and then sleeping under. I was kind of shocked how different Seoul was from the rest of Korea.
Yeah.
When I first got here. And I'm not saying this is good or bad, I'm just saying Seoul has everything. Everything you could ever want is here. Any kind of foreign food, any kind of entertainment. But then I used to actually live in like Chungju. I remember when I was with a group of foreigner friends, we were really excited when a new hamburger place popped up.
Yeah.
But you know, here in Seoul, there's all that. So like the contrast between the two, the countryside is very simple, I think is a good word. They only have like the things that they need. People work, they go to school, and they, you know, buy groceries and cook. Whereas here in Seoul, it's like you could have this type of hamburger, that type of hamburger, this type of pizza, that type of new crazy ice cream, this type of experience. And it's so different. I think if like Korea is an orange,
Yeah.
Seoul is an orange latte. You know, it's like a brand new thing with like a flavor of Korea.
I like
You like that? All right.
That was a very creative way of expressing that.
I impressed George. All right.
We are currently in the orange latte.
We're in the orange latte, and I'm loving it. I like orange lattes.
Yeah, I agree. But generally, I prefer like living outside of Seoul because it just feels more authentically like Korean.
Sometimes I miss it, man. Sometimes I miss walking around Chungju, these big streets with one car going by sometimes, and
Yeah.
just quiet.
That's true. Yeah.
I feel like I'm always busy in Seoul. You know, my time just goes by like blink.
I live directly next to a main road, so I constantly hear traffic.
In Seoul?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That really bugs me.
Yeah.
Yeah. All the delivery drivers.
Pedai, yeah.
Nights out. When you go for a night out in Korea, it doesn't matter if you don't have a place to stay because there's jinjilbangs, there's motels. It's really easy because it's so cheap.
Taxis are cheap too.
Taxis are cheap, yeah, as well. So if you live like an hour away or half an hour away, you can always get a taxi and go home. Whereas when I lived in Tokyo, I would always have to make sure that I get the metro just before midnight, because otherwise I'll have to stay out until like 5 in the morning, I think it was.
Yeah.
It was really, really late, and there'll be nowhere to sleep. So I did that a few times, and I really regretted my life choices. I mean, that's the great thing about living in Korea is taxis are so cheap.
They really are.
Compared to the UK as well, like, I would never think about getting a taxi in London. It would be the same as Tokyo, which is so expensive.
Yeah.
Whereas in Seoul, it's just an easy option. I mean, yeah. So there are these places in Japan called manga cafes, and you can get a place to sleep, and it's just like this. It's like a little cubicle, and you have a computer and just a little floor to sleep on. But in Tokyo, there are so many people trying to grab one of those cubicles that you have to wait hours in order to actually secure one and actually sleep in one. So one night I tried to go into one, and I ended up just like sleeping in the lobby of this manga cafe, waiting to get this cubicle for
that works.
hours. Yeah, I was just like sleeping like this. It was
Doesn't sound comfortable.
no.
So the last one I want to talk about, just something I was a little disappointed about. It's not a huge deal, so don't go crazy in the comments, but I remember when I first got here, when you smiled.
I'm just curious now what this will be.
Everybody's curious. When I was on the subway, I just got to Korea, and there was this kind of crazy guy. I think he was part of a weird religion or group. He kept bothering this one girl. He was like kind of judging her, like, you are unholy, like you need to join. You're not living a holy life. And this guy was clearly crazy, and he was bothering her. She seemed to be really annoyed and uncomfortable, and everybody kind of just on the seats just was looking at them, and I was like, why is no one helping this person, you know? I don't think she was in any like physical danger. I'm sure if like he had a knife or seemed like he was going to hurt her, I'm sure many people would have helped.
Sure.
But she was visibly uncomfortable, and I guess as an American, like, I was like, why is no one telling this guy to get away from her? Like,
Yeah.
what's going on? And I was like kind of disappointed. Like, I wish someone would say, leave her alone, you know? And I've kind of seen that a lot here. Like, if it's not someone you know, then it's not your business, you know? And I don't know, I guess I wish more people were like helping others who seemed like they needed help, or I kind of get that feeling, you know?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. I think
Are people gonna kill me in the comment section for talking about this? Like,
oh, who knows?
I still like Korea, all right? Relax, guys.
But I think maybe the UK is maybe in between the US and Korea in its approach to those kinds of situations. Because,
Okay.
yeah, I wouldn't really expect someone in the UK to sort of intervene in that situation. Like in the UK, maybe one person might have intervened.
Yeah, okay.
Possibly.
So it's kind of more similar to Korea.
Yeah,
Yeah.
one or two people might have intervened. Whereas I think in America they're a bit more
Yeah.
vocal about expressing themselves in
Yes.
public. I definitely noticed that when I went to the States. In Japan, I imagine it would be probably worse than Korea.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I can't imagine anybody intervening in that.
Because you just don't talk to strangers.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
That's the difference.
Yeah.
I guess in UK you don't really talk to strangers as
No.
much. I think in France you really don't talk to strangers. Japan and Korea you don't talk to strangers. America, we're all about small talk.
Yeah.
Hey man, what's going on?
Yeah.
How's it going, buddy?
Yeah, if someone came up to me like that and I didn't know them, I would be very uncomfortable.
Sure. I guess I was the weird one.
That was a twist.
Yes.
Yeah. But I mean, it's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good thing to intervene when someone is, I don't know, being attacked or
Uncomfortable.
or uncomfortable because of somebody else. One thing I noticed about Japan is that the Japanese always speak Japanese to you, no matter if you're foreign or whatever. So when I went to a convenience store, they would always speak to me in Japanese. Whereas in Korea, I've noticed that if I go to the convenience store, they'll probably just like point.
Yeah.
So earlier today, I went to the supermarket and I bought something, and it's just like.
Yeah.
It's just a very silent communication, whereas in Japan, it didn't matter if I didn't understand or if I didn't reply, they would always just speak to me in Japanese.
That's really interesting because I think that's not a weird thing.
No,
it's not weird.
Not at all.
What I mean is, if you go to the US, they're going to speak to you in English.
Yeah.
If you go to UK, they're going to say, how many people do you want for the restaurant? They're going to say it in English.
Yeah. And there seems to be less of an assumption in Korea that foreigners can speak some Korean,
True.
no matter how long they've lived in Korea. Whereas in Japan, maybe there's more of an assumption that foreigners should have learnt Japanese if they've lived there. In Korea, I noticed that even if they don't speak that much English, they tried a bit more.
Right.
Whereas in Japan, even if they spoke pretty good English, maybe they'd feel a bit shyer about sort of using it. And maybe after a few drinks, they might start speaking English.
100%.
more. Yeah.
Yeah. So these were just some things that we could think of when we thought about culture shock.
Yeah.
Things we didn't expect when moving to Korea and moving to Japan. Yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. What'd you think? Let me know in the comments down below. And once again, I'm Sean.
And I'm George.
Also, if you're currently studying English, I highly recommend you join my channel membership. Okay, see ya!
Bye-bye.